to transform our city's schools and ensure every Milwaukee child receives the high-quality education they deserve. We've taken real steps forward, but our work is far from done. This giving season, we're asking you to join us. Together, we can secure a stronger future for our children and a stronger future for Milwaukee. To support our mission, visit cityforwardcollective.org/donate. That's cityforwardcollective.org/donate.
This winter, treat yourself or someone you love to a getaway right here in Milwaukee. Milwaukee Hotel Month is coming with up to 25% off stays from January 14th through February 28th. From cozy boutique hideaways to modern downtown favorites, you'll find the perfect place for any kind of getaway. Enjoy world-class theater, inspiring museums, and award-winning dining, all paired with a warm, welcoming place to unwind after a full day of exploring the Brew City. Check in, chill out, and make winter feel a world away at visitmilwaukee.org/hotel month.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting WTMJ.com/contests. That's WTMJ.com/contests.
Time for a WTMJ Sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Bucks are on a 3-game losing streak after Thursday's loss against the Spurs. Their next game is Monday afternoon in Atlanta, tip-off against the Hawks at noon. In college basketball, Marquette lost to DePaul 80-75 on Friday, and the Badgers defeated Rutgers 96-87 on Saturday. Next up, they take on Penn State Thursday night. Badgers sports updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Pretty clear on the roads, no major incidents and no delays. Time for the WTMJ forecast. Right now, a winter weather advisory is in effect for all of southeast Wisconsin, and a cold weather advisory starts at 3 a.m. Both of those advisories expire at noon on Monday. Tonight, light snow and bitter cold with a low of 0 degrees. Monday, cold and windy with gusts up to 40 miles per hour. High of 8 degrees and that wind chill between 10 and 25 below 0. Tuesday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 16. Wednesday, some snow in the morning, otherwise mostly cloudy, a high of 22. Thursday, partly sunny skies, a high of 18. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 12 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 7:06.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Dr. Ken Harris.
Here's my issue with it. The wear and tear they're going to put on the side streets by fixing the expressway, when what they should have been doing is fixing the side streets up so that they can take the weight of all that excess traffic that now, when you're done with 7 years of the expressway for, 3.5 miles or so, now you're going to have to do the city.
Live at the Avenue, here's Dr. Ken Harris.
Is this where I stop dancing to the music? You're listening to Truth Unfiltered. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, with little old just me. I'm by myself. Well, Evan is here. I'm by myself because the Bears are playing Los Angeles, and Denise is having a grand old time. Freezing. What is the temperature in Chicago? Anybody know?
Very cold.
That's not a temperature, dude. Like,
Give me
so
1 second.
general. So general. Weather, Chicago. 19 degrees. What's the wind chill, though?
It feels like 10.
Yep. That's about right. That's about right.
And it's snowing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So we'll see. Do I care whether or not the Bears win? No. I don't. Last weekend, when the Bears beat the Packers and when every other team won, I thought, this is just me, because I'm only a Bear fan when they play the Packers, and then I become a Packer fan. There are myriad reasons why Packers lost, and Evan was hollering at me and telling me, "You're absolutely wrong. This is what it is. I know sports better than you, and you will listen to me." And I said, "Yes, sir." You know that's not what happened, right? He just hollered at me. So, but after last weekend's games,
You're listening to the...
After last weekend's games, I don't really care who wins the Super Bowl. I don't care who wins the Central Division. I'm not the Central. Look what I'm thinking. The AFC, NFC, Super Bowl. I don't even care. Last weekend were the best games I have ever seen in my entire life. Except this week, the most embarrassing game I saw was what the Patriots put on the Texans. Now, no lie, tomorrow night, Indiana. I want Indiana to beat Miami so bad.
Same. I think San Francisco got a little embarrassed yesterday, too, though.
San Francisco got beat. I'm sorry. Did I say that too loud? They got whooped.
Yeah, I'm with you on Team Indiana, though.
Yeah, I want Indiana. It's about time somebody from this region want to get like the SEC. I'm so tired of the SEC.
They haven't won it in like 3 years now.
Again, I'm so tired of the SEC. They've been gone for 3 years, and I'm still tired of the SEC. Like just done. So we'll, as they say, stick a fork in that. 855-616-1620 is the Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line. It is it's kind of snowing, and I don't understand where it's coming from. Although I told the story on my sister station, on the station I'm at, the sister station of 620, 1017 The Truth, last week. A friend of mine's wife, every time she talks about going to Florida, they go to Florida, and as soon as they get back, this happens. And so, like when it hit in December and it snowed, she came back, and this happened. So she got back about a week and a half ago, a week or so, and walked up and was talking about Florida. Oh, we're going to Florida, and we're going to boop, and it happened again. So I think when I become Wisconsin czar, not governor, but czar, we're going to ban, which means I can just write an edict and stamp it, right? We're going to ban the word Florida in Wisconsin.
Yeah, your friends can't go to Florida anymore.
No, you can go. You can go. You say, where you going? South. You can say what county you're going to. You can say a city that you're going. You just can't say the state of or any configuration of the word Florida. I can't even spell it. Florida. You can't. So, I don't know. National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory for all of southeastern Wisconsin, and it started an hour ago until noon tomorrow. This from WISN.com. There is no change to the Weather Watch 12 snowfall forecast. 1 to 2 inches expected area-wide. Light snow will move in early Sunday afternoon and last into the very early morning on Monday. Advisory is in effect until noon for the risk of blowing snow. So the fact that it's snowing or the fact that it's snowing and it's cold, it's snowing and it's cold and it's blowing. So the snow won't be falling. It'll be going either left to right or right to left.
40-mile-per-hour wind gust, from my understanding, is what we're supposed to get tomorrow.
Well, that kind of starts tonight.
Tonight.
So if anything's outside, it's toast. It's frozen. Advisory affects Milwaukee, Waukesha, Racine, Kenosha, Ozaukee, Washington, Dodge, Jefferson, Walworth, Fond du Lac, and Sheboygan counties. Bitter cold is also in the forecast. So, is anybody out? 855-616-1620. Is anybody out in the cold right now? How is it? Because when the show's over, I got to go. However, depending on what the cold is, I might just stay here overnight. Like, I don't know what the rundown is in the morning if Eric and Vince are in, but if they are, they'll have a third host. I mean, I may as well because it's going to be cold.
Yeah, they'll be in with Greg Hill, so you can join the three of them for a show.
There you go. I could sleep under the desk. You can go home. I sleep under the producer's desk. I mean, I don't want to sleep under the host desk. It might scare them when they come in. So, But I think it'll be cold tonight. So that means you need to check on your neighbors. You need to check on your friends. If there's any lasting snow on the ground, you might want to remove it because it's gonna get another 1 to 2 inches again tomorrow. And at that point, whether it's fluffy or not, it's gonna freeze. And so we have to be very careful of that. But we'll keep a watch on that as we go through the show. I got too many things going on. And the problem is I have too many screens. So every time I think about something, I can do it. And then I look up and I've got 27 things to do. But the only thing that's going to change that is weather. I've got a delivery coming tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting. And, of course, tomorrow's a national holiday, Martin Luther King Day, and markets are closed, and most folks have the day off. So, and it's not taken as a affront because you don't take MLK Day off any more than Columbus Day or Washington's birthday or anything. What are your thoughts? 855-616-1620. That's the Outdoor Living Unlimited. Am I reading the wrong? I'm reading the wrong one. Why didn't you tell me that the first time? And why didn't you just say it on the air? Sighting Unlimited. Well, see, that's just easy to say. See, Evan is very, very proper and very, responsive. Excuse me, that's Sighting Unlimited. You should have been hollering at me. Hey, stupid. It's Sighting Unlimited WTMJ talking text line.
I didn't catch it the first time. I caught it that time, so I'll let you know.
855-616-1620 is the Sighting Unlimited WTMJ talking text line. Because the news time is Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ news time. So every time I tell the news, I got to say, every time I tell the weather or the time, I got to say, okay, I got it. Do we have anything for foot scratching?
Not yet, but I can work on that.
All right. The WTMJ foot scratching time. Okay, whatever. I don't like it's all up there. So when we come back, I wanna talk about this. Milwaukee faith leaders made a comment in the news, and I don't know how I feel about it because I have questions about it. I more so want to know how you feel about it. When we come back, I want to talk about this idea of interfering with federal officers. Like I don't understand where that's coming from. Is there enough going on today because you don't like Donald Trump that you would impede a federal officer? Is it enough for you to put people in that type of harm's way? We're not talking about a civil rights issue. We're talking about an illegal issue. And there are problems even with ICE, even with some of the things ICE is doing. Some of the people they're rounding up. The public expects perfection. The same public that is anti-Trump, if someone else made a mistake, they would try to talk it away. But because it's under the Trump administration, but then conservatives think everybody's a criminal. So everybody that gets around, oh, it's okay. Oh, they made a mistake. No, it's we are so divided. We are so divided that we're accepting things and accepting people to break the law under the guise of we're losing our democracy, which we're nowhere near close to losing our democracy. That we have people doing things that they ought not be doing. And there's a story about faith leaders in Milwaukee calling people to do things that that Governor Walz in Minnesota was calling people to do things. Well, they're calling that same thing here in Milwaukee. And I say, when we come back, I'll say exactly how I feel about it, what I think about it, and how dangerous it is. You're listening to Truth Unfiltered. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ talk and text line is 855-616-1620.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzek and Jessica Ty.
From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, President Trump meets with Venezuelan opposition figure Maria Corina Machado to discuss who will lead the country moving forward.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
Lawmakers in the Wisconsin Assembly are moving a bill forward that would suspend pay for judges accused of crimes.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ.
Recently, a seller that unfortunately ended up choosing another agent called me. She said she made a mistake, and what she was expressing to me sounded like she kind of was bullied into signing with him. Is it typical? Not always, but it will never happen when you hire a Century 21 Benefit Realty agent. I want our agents to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'd want to work with me, not because they're good at saying what you want to hear or offer the lowest commission, but because of trust. Because if you're not feeling that from your agent, that's a problem, and I don't want that. At 1.9% on the listing side of your sale with our commission capped at $19,000, Century 21 Benefit Realty leads with a very fair and transparent commission structure with maximum marketing that can get your home sold fast and for the best price. And saving money matters, but working with someone who'll tell you exactly what you need to know up front, that creates trust. And that matters too. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
We know for small business advertisers, every dollar counts. And that's why you hear our advertisers over and over on this station, as well as every other Milwaukee radio station, because the power of repetition is real. Go to the Our Clients page of Anderson-Smith.com and see just how many you're familiar with. And check out their real advertising success stories. You'll learn why our clients stay with us for years and years. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results. We know you work hard to make your small business the best it can be. And we understand you deserve to have your advertising work as hard as you do. That's why we focus on only the most efficient ways to assure your ad message makes the most impact it possibly can. With millions of dollars in annual billing and dozens of satisfied clients, Anderson Smith has the leverage and know-how to amplify your advertising. Go to Anderson-Smith.com, email me, and I'll call you in short order, because it's time we grow your business.
Welcome back to The Truth Unfiltered.
You're listening to Truth Unfiltered. I am your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ talk and text line is 855-616-1620. So I know I'm going to talk about the whole ICE thing and all the stuff that's going on, but in a rare report, snow blanketed highways and neighborhoods from Long Island to the Florida Panhandle overnight. Guess what just started happening this afternoon? Snow as far south as Georgia and Alabama. So, I mean, yeah. I don't feel bad now. I don't feel bad. I know I'm going to get phone calls from friends of mine. Hey, what are you doing? We're going to be. But, you know, it is what it is. So I came across this story on CBS 58. Faith leaders call for neighbors to record and intervene if ICE ramps up Milwaukee presence. A collection of faith leaders joined demonstrators a couple days ago, Friday morning, outside the Milwaukee field office for ICE. That's the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Milwaukee Inner City Congress, I'm saying it all wrong, MICA. Milwaukee Inner City Congregations Allied for Hope had several of its members speak outside the office, and standing in the snow, they likened the idea of ramping up ICE operations to a natural disaster. Friends, an ice storm is coming, said Bishop Paul Erickson of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America. Now we better get ready. When asked if they had any specific information indicating ICE plan to increase the presence in Milwaukee? The faith leader said they did not. However, they pointed to a large and increasing operations in neighboring Minnesota as a reason to be on alert. They encourage people to become trained legal observers, to join whistle campaigns that cause a scene when ICE attempts to make arrests, and to record actions anytime officers are spotted. Well, you're in public, so you're really not doing anything that you couldn't normally do anyway. So there's no real now. In a moment of transparency and authenticity, I'm a retired police lieutenant from Milwaukee. So am I biased? Yes, 100%. Not 100% in agreement, just 100% biased. He said, it is our right. Jennifer Nordstrom, who was the first Unitarian Society of Milwaukee, said, it is our right as American citizens to legally observe what federal agents are doing in our city. You can only observe them when they're in public. You can't observe them in private. So become trained in that to be prepared for that. So my question is, shouldn't they be working with immigration to make sure that proper people get arrested or proper people are identified and citizens are not? I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering. So, Milwaukee Representative Congresswoman Gwen Moore was one of several Democrats to attend a congressional field hearing Friday in St. Paul. Moore questioned the chief of police in Mendota Heights, a suburb of the Twin Cities, and asked Chief Kelly McCarthy if local police can intervene during an ICE raid. Why would you ask that? You are a representative of the federal government and you represent Milwaukee. Why would you ask whether or not somebody could interfere with a law enforcement officer? That makes no sense. Well, McCarthy told Moore, we cannot interfere in a lawful arrest, and we have no authority or ability to force them to answer our questions. So why would you even do that? People need to stay out of the way of local law enforcement, county law enforcement, and federal law enforcement. They need to let them do their job. If you disagree with it, file a complaint. You can record it if you want. They're in public. But do understand, screaming and hollering and standing in the way of a law enforcement officer is obstructing. You can be arrested. You can either be cited or charged with a misdemeanor. Don't get it wrong. If you're rioting or if you're protesting in public and it gets out of hand, the local police can arrest you. I don't know where you think your rights extend beyond the law, because they don't. Now, am I missing something? If I am, give me a call. If you're an attorney, and no disrespect to attorneys, but most attorneys don't apply the law like law enforcement does. They can actually talk about probable cause after the fact. But to develop it and create it and watch it develop, lawyers usually don't do that unless, like they did in Milwaukee County, the ADAs are sitting in the car with you and can develop it with you. And I think that's one of the most powerful things we have, and I am grateful with some of the folks we have in the ADA's office in Milwaukee County now, especially with Kent Laverne being the DA. However, local officers can be deputized. They can be sworn in as ICE officers and U.S. Marshals or whatever and assist. So I don't know. See, here's the thing that disturbs me. All these police chiefs that are stepping up saying, we do not have an agreement with the federal government because you don't like Trump. We don't have an agreement with the federal government to support ICE. If Biden was in, you still wouldn't have an agreement to support ICE because you don't. You don't enforce federal law unless you're a special federal agent. You get sworn in as a U.S. Marshal. You could do that. You can help out. It's just a weird thing where people are pontificating about something that they don't do anyway. Governors signing, we're not going to help ICE, when in fact they can't. Federal law inhibits them unless there's an agreement. So there's no agreement. So what are we doing? Now, are you really, on the flip side, before we go to break, Are you really expecting local law enforcement to stand by while a special agent is hurt, injured, or killed? Watch this. You ready? Wouldn't they themselves be charged with letting another citizen die at the hands of another and do nothing about it? I would equate that in Wisconsin to misconduct in public office. Failure to act. You're a public servant. You would actually let a local law enforcement officer watch a federal agent be hurt, injured, or killed? What if they ask you for help? What would you do? Now, in that instance, I would love to see that police officer prosecuted. Now, in the same vein, if you're an ICE officer or a federal agent and you break the law, you should be prosecuted. You should be indicted. And if they have the conviction, go to prison. So I get it. I understand it. It's just weird that we're doing all these things and allowing citizens to break the law. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ talk and text line is 855-616-1620. When we come back, housing is up the cost significantly. But yet there were some things the mayor said not too long ago that made me cringe because it didn't match what's actually happening. It's like there was an action made to cause one thing, and then there was a program created to offset it. And it sounds to me, what's a good word? What's a good word to use? Shenanigans? Which word is better? Shenanigans or chicanery?
Chicanery.
Chicanery.
We don't use chicanery enough.
Okay. You're listening to Truth Unfiltered. When we come back, State of Milwaukee, I'm not going to lie. I think the mayor has started something that doesn't make any sense.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's 4 walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
If you want to add a unique and stunning feature to your home, decorative art glass can be used in a variety of ways to really increase its wow factor. Think of adding a wonderful work of stained glass art to some of your exterior windows, foyer, or front door entry. We can make sure the measurements fit spot on, and you don't even have to replace the glass. You can just add the art glass over the top. It will add some real ambiance that changes as the sun moves throughout the day. And a paint of protection too, which never hurts. Our decorative glass artists are delightful to work with, and they just might give you some ideas that you love, but never even thought of. There's so much of the same out there. Adding a customized work of stained glass art to one or more of your home's windows can really set it apart. This is Stacy Sinks with Les's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
You're listening to The Truth Unfiltered.
You're listening to Truth Unfiltered. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 855-616-1620 is the Citing Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line. Not to be confused with 34 minutes after the hour of the Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time. Do I have to do that during the news? That probably makes sense, right? I'm going to tell everybody. Just tell everybody. So, the city of Milwaukee, the mayor has said 2026 is the year of housing. They want new developments alongside programs like down payment assistance, home buyer assistance for rehabs, aimed at affordable housing and home ownership with specific application periods, eligibility, all that kind of stuff, right? But yet at the same time, JS Online has a great article, a letter to the editor, about don't blame landlords for rental units becoming unaffordable. Officials wring their hands about housing affordability, but continually act against it. That is what the article title actually should be. But that's the subtitle. Goes like this. I'm a mom and pop landlord of a 4-family housing unit in Milwaukee. Try to keep my rents below market rate to keep the units affordable. However, this year's property tax increased $1,428 and the insurance premium went up $1,300. I now have to raise the rents and hope to catch up in the next 2 years. This means no raise for the landlord and cutting back on some non-essential maintenance like lawn weed control. And if the city didn't raise the property tax, the tenant's rent would not go up to cover it and the rents would remain affordable. Now, the city fathers wring their hands about affordability, but then continue to act against it. Do you agree? 855-616-1620, Citing Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line. Do you agree? So here's my thing. You increase the tax levy by 3%. You rearrange the formula and pretend, oh, it only went up 3%. Yeah, but there are other things in there that you can tweak. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at a significant increase. I know some people that have taken a 5-digit increase. Literally, a 5-digit increase. And what? They didn't do that. Everybody blames everybody. The city blames the county blames the state blames the city and the county blames the city and the state. It just goes round and round. But in the end, the only person that's hurt is the renter. So how can you talk out of both sides of your mouth at the same time and say two different things? How can you move one mouth, say two different things, and then tell each of them, well, I don't know what you're talking about. You just want to take more in tax, and then you want to bring in affordable housing, but you can't. Like, it's just weird. And I thought I was missing something. I thought I was missing something because they're going to pass everything on to the renter. And so you have to take that roughly $3,500 increase that person had, and let me see what those numbers were again. $1,400 and $1,300. You got to take that $2,700, divide it by 24 months, and that's your rent increase divided amongst those 4 units. Who can barely afford what they're paying now? But you're trying to help them out and make a modest profit, because otherwise, why would you be in real estate unless you want to make a profit? But when so many other things in the city are going down, and there's no real increase, Like we're not getting anything special in the city for the tax increase. Like, am I seeing new roads? City council had to basically override multiple vetoes in order to get that to happen. And then when the streets get, because they said they were only going to do X amount of miles, and then they're going to spend that low amount of money on those streets, they really didn't fix the street. They just put asphalt over the cracks. And then that'll get worn down, and then the street will sink back in, and then they'll just have to do it again. At some point, we need to set an increase and then stop it and then say statutorily, we can't do it. You know, we can't increase it for X amount of years. Then I'd be happy. If I know what the money is going to, then I'm okay. Luckily, like MPS, we got an increase, and Dr. Brenda Caselius was able to make some corrections and make some adjustments and do some of the things that former Superintendent Keith Posley was either unable or unwilling. I don't know why. Under his administration, it didn't get done. We need to close some schools. We need to sell some schools. We can't be afraid of private or parochial education for kids when the public isn't doing what it's supposed to do. That's a whole other issue. I'm in the process of doing some research on why we have public schools and how they came about. Not the polyunsaturated, what we teach in schools of education stuff I learned, but what is it schools are supposed to do? Because they've turned into something that I don't think is appropriate. But before I dive in and then leave it half done, I really want to start looking at institutions that we support and we pay for with taxpayer money that don't give us back what we expect. And that's just odd to me. If we're going to be out protesting, rioting, burning stuff down, talking about democracy is under fire, talk about all these other things, then I think we need to be doing it when it comes to things like schools. I'm just saying. When it comes to property, taxes, all those things. We'd rather fight for a group of people. Unfortunately, citizens have been thrown in, and ICE made those mistakes, and people with green cards and here properly were thrown in with everybody else. They made mistakes. They need to correct those. We'd rather cheer for people who are not citizens to have rights than we're cheering for the people that are already here that should be taken care of. We spend more money on people who are not in the country legally than we do on homelessness and health care for the same homeless people. It's just weird to me. It's bizarre. And I don't understand it. When we come back, I want to touch on the Corey Stingley. What's the word I want to use for it? I just want to ask, is it justice for the Stingley family? If you haven't heard the story, we're gonna touch on it and talk about it. And we're also going to harass Evan about some comments he made about sports last week. And see what his record is. I think his record might be better than the Packers. No? He's giving me the look. No. And so right now we're watching the Bears and the LA Rams play. So we'll see. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ Talk and Text line is 855-616-1620. I talked about it on last week, the whole Corey Stingley murder trial, and two men were charged. A third man who was, I guess for lack of a better phrase, an accomplice, passed away. And so the two that remained were then charged. But there's been some movement in that case, and I want to know how you feel about it. But I guess the most appropriate question I should ask is, do you really care?
Ready to cruise Europe with a little sparkle? Celebrity Cruises and Fox World Travel bring you the Mediterranean with modern luxury, world-class dining, and unforgettable ports. From the French Riviera to the Greek Isles, think chic ships, breathtaking views, and days that feel like postcards come to life. Ready to cruise Europe in style? Call 866-GO-FOX-GO or visit foxworldtravel.com and let Celebrity Cruises turn your Mediterranean dreams into a stylish, sun-soaked reality.
Bag huge savings with Menards 15% off bag sale. Peak 50/50 antifreeze and coolant provides your vehicle with year-round protection, and it's compatible with all vehicles. Pick up a 1-gallon jug of Peak 50/50 antifreeze and coolant for $6.99 after you put it in the bag. Now through January 24th. Plus, get 15% off everything you can fit in the bag. See store for complete details.
Save big money at Menards.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief, because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
Welcome back to The Truth Unfiltered.
You're listening to Truth Unfiltered. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, 855-616-1620. I should probably check the talking text line. It'd be kind of embarrassing. I did that once before, and I kept putting out the number, and then I would go on thinking to myself, oh, nobody's saying anything. And then I checked the talking text line for like 45 minutes. People had been replying. And so, you got to pay attention. You got to look. You got to be aware. But I wonder, was anybody aware for the last 13 years? For the last 13 years, a family has been fighting for justice for their son. From Fox6Now.com, 2 men pleaded guilty to felony murder in the 2012 death of Corey Stingley. They could avoid prison time through an agreement made with prosecutors and Stingley's family, part of a years-long effort to get justice for the teen. Earlier this week, prosecutors charged 67-year-old Robert Behringer of Menominee Falls and 39-year-old Jesse Cole of Waukesha with felony murder. The charges came more than a decade after Stingley's death. Behringer and Cole pleaded guilty Thursday. Judge Laura Crivello upheld a judgment of conviction for 6 months as part of a deferred prosecution agreement. And if the 2 men don't commit any new crimes, the judge will likely dismiss the case with prejudice. I would not do that. I would not dismiss the case. What I would do is make sure they had a felony on their record for the entire time. That's what I would do. I think they deserve to have a felony on their record and not be able to do things and be held up and talked about as a felon like many other people in America are. I do not think it should be dismissed with prejudice.
I don't think it should be longer than 6 months, too.
Well, it's been 13 years. So giving them more, I just, yeah. I don't understand that. So it's the fact that it took them that long is because we had a DA who was useless and shiftless and only cared about themselves. That's just me. That's my opinion. The problem I'm having with Laura Cravella, who seems to have been a decent judge over the years, and I don't think I've met her. I think she used to be an ADA. I'm not sure, but I'm not mad at her or anything. I just don't like a decision. It's not, dismissing with prejudice means a court is the case is permanently closed. So you let them get charged and convicted of it, and then it's dropped off, and then the case disappears, and they never pay for a murder that they committed, accidental or not. It should stay on their record. And I don't understand why anybody would say yes to this. They killed him. Now, if you want to dismiss it, I would dismiss it without prejudice. I wouldn't dismiss it at all. I want that on their record. And don't talk about, well, it's on paper. They were convicted. No, I want them to be felons for the rest of their life. I want every time they fill out a form, I want every time they ask for credit, I want every time they try to get a job, you're a convicted felon. You killed a kid who stole liquor and didn't deserve to die. Three white guys jump a black kid in a store to hold him for police and crush his neck. Kill him. For what reason? For $6 bottles of Smirnoff? And you think you're actually doing justice. Now, that's the way you would normally do it if, because then you can play the white angle and the three white guys, this in West Dallas. When it came out, people were saying, well, those West Dallas and three white guys, they're never going to jail. And they didn't. The DA decided not to press charges. Put an entire family through 13 years of stress and pain. Or could have just had a plea deal then. Now, me, I would sue the socks and the brakes off of them. I would try to take every single solitary thing they own, their house, their pension, their car, their kids, their spouse, everything. Wipe them out. Make them suffer the pain that you suffered. Now watch this. I didn't say be revenge. I didn't say be vengeful. I didn't say seek revenge. And you should actually forgive them. Just don't forget. And for them not to forget, you need to own everything they own. If they have a house in Menominee Falls, take it. They have cars, take it. Clothes in the closet, take it. Money in the bank, pension, take every single dime. And then get a judgment for them violating his civil rights. Because I think what happens, and I'm not a lawyer, are they still eligible to sue them for violating this kid's civil rights? This is something they should be going after for federally. The federal government should be coming in and going after them for a civil rights violation. We've done it for less. We're doing discrimination lawsuits for white males and companies because they feel aggrieved, because that's how they feel, not that it actually happened. Because in their mind, well, the guy should have got the job. And what they're really saying, well, it's a white guy. He should have got the job. He's smarter, right? It's just automatic. We can't talk about merit and then default. At some point, we have to always follow the rules, follow by the rule of law. But for some reason, we don't. And for the life of me, I've just never understood that. When something is wrong or there's merit to dole out, it's rules for me and not for thee. Why? I've never understood that, this double standard. I just find it amazing. And now here we are 13 years later. A kid is still dead. And they'll not pay for their killing someone. There'll be zero justice. That judge didn't give them any justice. That plea deal is a terrible plea deal. But I can't argue it because the Stingley family went along with it. It should be on their record. Not just on their record and then the case was dismissed and then it goes poof. That's ridiculous. That case should stay on their record forever. Every time they breathe, every time they move, every time they talk, it should show up. Dismiss the case with prejudice. Deferred prosecution for killing somebody. I've never seen that. We see accidental things happen, and the first thing, especially if it's a black person, they're held to a standard that this is the rule of law and you broke the law and you should be held accountable. Well, then let's do it for everybody in every single instance. And then the insult of judgment of conviction for 6 months? You've got to be kidding me. I hope they get a parking ticket, a traffic ticket, something that makes them violate their probation, violate the agreement so they can go to jail. That is unfortunate. Now, forgiveness? Absolutely. You're forgiven. Something you have to deal with your God. But forget? Absolutely not. We should never forget the names of Robert Berenger of Menominee Falls and Jesse Cole of Waukesha. We should never forget those names. They are killers. They killed a teenager for some liquor. And then somebody had the audacity to blame the victim. Kids are doing what kids do. I watch them do it all the time. Every age, every ethnicity, every gender, they do dumb stuff. Dumb stuff, you should not lose your life. For dumb stuff, you should not die and your family have to fight 13 years and the only thing they can get is a plea agreement. That is insulting. The fact that the prosecutors did it is insulting. Why would the prosecutors go all this long, know that they can prosecute the person, they have the evidence, and instead of doing it, they allow a plea deal for it to be dismissed with prejudice? That is insulting. That is what will cause me to sue your socks off. Matter of fact, that would make a really good lawsuit. I want you to live in the desert, and we're going to put you in a house where there's sandstorms all the time, maybe in the middle of Afghanistan or Pakistan. And then you have to wear potato sack underwear. And then put your pants on and all that. You got to wear potato sack socks and a potato sack T-shirt. And you can't take a shower and you can't take a bath and you got to walk around in that all day. But you got to put your feet in shoes with potato sack. I'll give you 2 days. You'll probably be bleeding all over the place because if you've ever... Isn't that evil? That's why forgiveness is so important. But I think I'd be held accountable for every single thing that I did. I think I'd be held accountable for everything I did. To dismiss a case with prejudice after 13 years of killing someone and crushing their neck and causing them to die, and they're a teenager, for stealing $6 worth of liquor is unconscionable. You should always remember the name of Jesse Cole of Waukesha and Robert Berenger of Menominee Falls. Now, don't be stupid or do anything. Stop it. Don't be dumb. But at some point, they need to be held accountable. And I think a masterful lawsuit, well placed, would be great.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been Milwaukee's one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 8 o'clock, it's 13 degrees. Right now, a winter weather advisory in effect for all of southeast Wisconsin, and a cold weather advisory starts at 3 a.m. Tonight, light snow and bitter cold with a low of 0 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Gatso. New numbers out of Iran say at least 3,900 people have died since protests erupted across the country in late December. ABC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell.
On Saturday, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei accusing President Trump of being the main culprit for the killings in Iran. President Trump responding, saying it's time to look for new leadership in Iran. Despite this rhetoric, it appears that the likelihood of military action has diminished for now, and after 3 long bloody weeks of repression, the protest movement seems to have stopped.
Nearly 9,000 other deaths are still under review, according to the latest data gathered by U.S.-based activists tracking protests. A former Marquette University track and field athlete is facing child sex crime charges in Langlade County. 21-year-old William Waterstraat is charged with 12 felonies, including second-degree sexual assault of a child and exposing genitals to a child. He's being held in the Langlade County Jail on a $500,000 bond, and his first court appearance is set for Wednesday. Marquette confirms Waterstraat is no longer enrolled at the university. Part of a Kohler shopping center was evacuated Saturday morning due to a suspicious item outside a Target store.
Kohler police say the item was found in a cart corral outside the Target on State Highway 28 just after 10 a.m. As a precaution, officers evacuated the north end of Deer Trace Shopping Center, while Milwaukee police bomb technicians were called in to remove the item. Multiple agencies assisted with the response, including Sheboygan County Sheriff's Office and the FBI's Milwaukee Field Force. The incident remains under investigation. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
Glorioso's Italian Market, one of Milwaukee's most iconic businesses on Brady Street, is celebrating its 80th anniversary, roughly 4 months after a fire on the store's second floor forced the store to close for the holidays.
Grand reopening 80th anniversary events begin Monday and go for 6 weeks. The milestone celebration is not just about looking back, it's about honoring the journey and people who made it possible.
We got a lot of giveaways going on just to show our appreciation for everybody.
Including a trip to Rome. Owner Carmine Presta is also looking to expand.
We have lots of customers that travel a long way, hour and a half, but we are heavily looking to open our second location.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 8:02.
James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. JamesImaging.com.
St. Anne's Center for Intergenerational Care switched from a previous vendor to business technology from James Imaging Systems. Why? CFO Sally Parente.
The service, the value, and the ease with which we can just keep using their service and not having any big headaches. It's not just all about the money. We're getting value here as well.
Robert Prang, CIO at Tri-City National Bank, likes the fact that James Imaging is local.
So being able to work with a local company like James that has that flexibility with their staff and being able to deliver for us has given us the ability to make the right decisions for our organization.
And Junior Achievement of Wisconsin VP of Enterprise Services, Lori Salzman, had this advice for others.
If anybody is looking for a good partner that is there to help find solutions, call James Imaging.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Visit jamesimaging.com.
Hey, John Mercure here for Mend Studios. You deserve to feel better. You deserve to feel healthy. You deserve to feel great about yourself. Mend Studios has a long-term wellness as the goal. That's how they're going to do it. That's how they're going to take care of you. I know and trust the therapists at Mend Studio. They customize every single treatment, and they've got multiple locations. They're in Mequon and Brookfield, both convenient, both easy to get to. Start at the website, mendstudio.com. I never feel better than I do after a session at Mend. Mendstudio.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Bucks are on a 3-game losing streak after Thursday's loss against the Spurs. Their next game is Monday afternoon in Atlanta. Tip-off against the Hawks at noon. In college basketball, Marquette lost to DePaul 80-75 on Friday, and the Badgers defeated Rutgers 96-87 on Saturday. Next up, they'll take on Penn State Thursday night. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Looks like a crash is blocking a few lanes on 41-894 South. That's the 2 left lanes blocked at National Avenue. And taking a look at the WTMJ 5-day forecast. A winter weather advisory is in effect for all of southeast Wisconsin, and a cold weather advisory starts at 3 a.m. Both of those expire at noon on Monday. Tonight, light snow and bitter cold with a low of 0 degrees. Monday, cold and windy with gusts up to 40 miles per hour, a high of 8 degrees, and the wind chill between 10 and 25 below 0. Tuesday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 16. Wednesday, some snow in the morning, otherwise mostly cloudy skies, a high of 22. Thursday, partly sunny, a high of 18. And Friday, mostly cloudy, a high of 15. Right now in Madison, it's 11 degrees. In Green Bay, it's 8. In Waukesha, it's 12. And in Milwaukee, it's 13 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 8:06.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Dr. Ken Harris.
Here's my issue with it. The wear and tear they're going to put on the side streets by fixing the expressway, when what they should have been doing is fixing the side streets up so that they can take the weight of all that excess traffic that now, when you're done with 7 years of the expressway for, 3.5 miles or so, now you're going to have to do the city.
Live at the Avenue, here's Dr. Ken Harris.
Well, you just ruined my day. I thought I was over it. I thought I'd gotten over all the traffic on I-94 and expanding, and I just remembered, wow, 7 years. Okay, I'm done. I tell you. So, Evan, you made some suggestions about teams that were going to win last week, and I kind of saw you on social media.
Yeah, and again this weekend, and not doing very well. Not doing very well overall.
So you already lost once?
Well,
so how many teams did you pick this week?
Well, I picked all the divisional round games, and I've gotten 1 correct so far. And
there have been
2
how
wrong.
many games?
Well, this is game 4, so I'm 1 correct and 2 wrong.
So you're 1 and 2.
Yep. So if the Rams win, I'll finish 500.
Okay. So you didn't pick the Bears because they beat the Packers, right?
Nothing to do with that.
You're fibbing. You're fibbing. The way you raised your voice at me and hollered at me and threw me out of your office.
I didn't know.
I'd say thing. You're a pack. Hey, if I'm going to lie, I'm going to lie big. All right? Make it bigger. And then he slapped me and then he banged my head up against the glass. Like, oh, I'm a Packer fan. And all that. It was this. I was scared for my life. And then I started crying.
If anyone from HR is listening, none of that did actually happen.
It most certainly did. In my mind, right there. See how big my mind is? Like that big. So. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ talking text line is 855-616-1620. So I'm just scrolling, doing my show prep today. La-da-dee-dee. Let me look over here, look over there. Look up Straight Arrow News and look up Google News and look up JS Online, 620 WTMJ. I'm looking up everything that I can find. I'm looking at everything.
For some reason.
And then you pop up. I'm like, huh? What's he doing in here? Well, I've got my prediction for, and then as soon as you said wild card, I went, that was last week. So I don't think you did too well last week, did you?
I think I maybe got 3 right. I have to go back and listen.
I know one you missed.
Yeah.
I think countrywide.
Well, an interesting stat, and
What's
it makes you, as a Packer fan, it makes you even more frustrated. For the Packers and Bears have played 3 times this year.
Mhm.
Packers are 1-2 against the Bears. How many offensive snaps did the Bears have in all 3 games combined with the lead?
Probably nowhere near what they should have had.
They had 0. They won 2 of the 3 games, and they never had an offensive snap with the lead.
What do you mean an offensive snap? I don't know what that means.
Well, Packers basically had the lead.
Correct.
Correct. For the majority of every single game.
Correct.
So
like when they won, they won on that score.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Packers had that last drive after the Bears took the lead. They never snapped the ball again. But the Packers pretty much controlled all 3 games.
You can't see, you're just a diehard Packer fan, and I get it, but they did not control that last game. They didn't control the game.
They controlled the first half. They didn't finish.
Listen, you either won or you didn't.
I know.
If it's a L, you didn't control the game.
And that's why I say it's frustrating, because you recover an onside kick in December, you win that game. They couldn't just recover the onside kick, and then you fell apart after halftime.
It's an 8% chance of recovering an onside kick.
I think it's even less than that in the NFL now.
It's 8%.
But like I said, it's just frustrating.
Because that's what they said on they said, they looked it up. It's an 8% chance of recovering that.
No, but it's just frustrating. And that's kind of been the Packers' theme all year. Cleveland, Dallas, Carolina, Chicago. If you finished the game, but they couldn't finish. They didn't finish the game. They played, 3 quarters or 1 half. They didn't play 4 complete quarters of football, I don't think, all year.
Well, they had to have, because they won some games.
Well, they were able to hold them off at the end. Like the first Bear win, the first game against the Bears where the Packers won, it was a Keyshawn Nixon interception in the end zone.
Right.
But another one they almost let slip away.
Right.
And once Micah Parsons got hurt, they never won another game. They were 9-3-1.
So that goes back to the coach.
Yeah, they were 9-3-1 in going into Denver with a 9-point lead over the Broncos at one point in that game. And then Micah Parsons gets hurt, and they don't win again. And I don't really count
I don't know if you can equate them losing to Michael Parsons, because you have to actually score points to win. So I'm heaping that on the offense more so than the defense.
The defense couldn't consistently get stops.
And the offense couldn't consistently score. If you can score, you can win.
Yeah. But
I think the Bears proved that, because their defense gave up a lot, but they still won.
And they got a big stop last week when it mattered most.
Yep.
That's the thing. And that's what the Packers struggled to do without Micah Parsons is, Micah Parsons I think it was Arizona, won them that game with a key sack towards the end of that game. Against Dallas, the reason why that game ended in a tie, Micah Parsons sacked Dak Prescott forcing a field goal. Yeah. So those are games because of his impact that they either tied or won. And the last, I forget what week it was with Denver, but they were 9-3-1 the rest of that stretch. And I throw out week 18 with Minnesota. That was one where they basically punted on. It was a glorified preseason game. They had no impact on the defensive front to get big stops when they needed it most.
Yep. Excuses.
And now we have the head coach getting an extension. Broke yesterday with the general manager getting an extension too.
Which I don't really understand. So you're talking about a guy that every time he's gone to the playoffs, he's gone, 6 of the 7 times?
Yep, 6 of 7 years. The only year they missed the playoffs was 2022.
And they lost.
Yeah,
So why would you extend multiple years on an extension when you're not doing what we need you to do? Now, it's either the coach or it's the general manager. But I kind
of put it on both.
General manager makes the choices.
Yes.
General manager does the drafting and the coach can only work with what they give him. He can suggest.
Yeah.
But you can only work with what they
And that's why I put the blame on both the GM and the coach in this situation, because it was the GM that decided Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine was a good enough cornerback room to win you a Super Bowl. He was the one that made that decision.
Well, but it worked out in the end because they got Michael Parsons. So you short up your line, then your backs can do their job.
Yeah. So, that's where I put the blame more on the GM and then a couple years back, he neglected the safety room, thinking the safety room that they had was good enough to win, and it wasn't. So what does he do the following offseason? Xavier McKinney, and then he drafts Evan Williams and Javon Bullard. So that's why I put it on both. I felt that LaFleur has run its course. I think he maximized what he can do in Green Bay. He's, as a colleague down the hall on ESPN Milwaukee labeled him, I think after year 2, he's basically a Steve Mariucci. He can win in the regular season,
right? But he can't win,
pull off in the postseason consistently enough,
right? Because he can't rally the troops to go above and beyond. And I say the same thing about Love. Love is listening to his coaching. Love doesn't have what Aaron Rodgers had and Favre had. When in doubt, they went for it. And if I'm gonna get screamed at, my check is still coming in the mail. If they want to trade me. But I'm here, and I'm going for it. And the Packers have won many a game under an Aaron Rodgers and a Brett Favre saying, "Hey, coach, you're not out here doing it. I am." And they took the heat for the team, and they won. Sometimes they lost, but that's a leader. I'm not seeing that in Love. I'm seeing very safe, doing what the coach says. And I'm like, dude, this is year what, 2?
Year 3 as a starter.
Year 3? Come on, let's go. We need to speed this up some. He's got the legs. He's got the strength. He should be running the way Caleb Williams and Mendoza from Indiana. When you got a quarterback like that blocking on the goal line for their running back to get a score, that is the guy. So maybe if Mendoza's going to the draft, we could,
Now, my hope is with now LaFleur coming back, I hope that one of the things that him and the new team president talked about, because the way the Packers are structured, Goody's not LaFleur's boss. The general manager is not the head coach's boss.
The president.
The team. So Mark Murphy, after he hired Brian Gutekunst, he restructured the structure.
He had to.
So he restructured it, and LaFleur, I hope policy had the conversation with him, you need to make some changes to your coaching staff too, because you have an offensive coordinator that nobody actually knows what he does. And
because the head coach keeps doing all the
And
plays.
it's not even so when Nathaniel Hackett was the offensive coordinator, we knew what Nathaniel Hackett did. He didn't call the plays, but we knew what he did. He was the big influence in the game plan. He was the guy behind a lot of the adjustments that were made throughout the game. And then the red zone was called the gold zone because when he was there, they always scored in the red zone no matter what.
Right.
With Stenovich, what does he do? Nobody knows what he does. He has a staff of
he coordinates
coaches on his staff.
Dude,
that
he coordinates.
Very good.
He coordinates.
You have
he only does what he's told. He's under LaFleur.
Yeah.
He coordinates.
And that's why I hope that one of the things policy told him is you need to make some changes to your staff. They need a new offensive line coach. They need a new offensive coordinator. They need a new special teams coach.
If the coach doesn't let them do their job, that's not their fault.
Well, he needs to stop hiring people that are yes men. Ultimately.
Depends on how much you're getting paid. Pay me $1 billion. Yes, God.
You have a very young, talented wide receiver room, and you don't really have a assistant offensive line coach promoted to wide receivers coach.
Right.
You need a wide receivers coach that is
actually
known for developing wide receivers.
Right.
Golden, Watson, Reed, those are guys that should get better, but they haven't really gotten significantly better since they got drafted.
Because you need a good coach.
And they don't have that. And the offensive line, since Stenovich went from O-line coach to the offensive coordinator, the offensive line's gotten worse.
Well, but there is a such thing. Well, I don't know. We'll see next season. We will see. All I know is that you're 1-2.
With the Rams win, I'll be 2-2.
And the Rams will be 2-2. And at the very least, your new nickname is 50-50.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Yeah, Debbie, this is Dan. South of K, there's a car fire in the southbound lane closing off 3 lanes.
Call me, Debbie Lazaga, on the WTMJ traffic tip line, 414-238-9329.
Hey, Debbie, just calling in. There's 2 separate accidents, 94 westbound.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
There was an accident. There's already 4 cops there and an ambulance.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
Give your home a beautiful makeover with help from Menards. Update any room with flooring from Tarkett. From easy-to-install sheet vinyl and vinyl plank to durable laminate flooring, Tarkett has the perfect flooring option for you. Vericore vinyl plank is waterproof and perfect for any room in your house. Pick it up for just $329 per square foot, now through January 24th. Plus, get 15% off everything you can fit in the bag. See store for complete details.
Save big money at Menards.
The fact is, without us, you'll pay more. When you buy advertising, unless you're seeking out every avenue that the chosen medium has to offer and negotiating with every entity to find out what the true floor is, there's no way you can know if you really did get your best deal. In fact, there's a big chance that you'll overpay. We've done all the legwork, and with a very high volume of consistent year-in and year-out billing, we've uncovered rates that we're sure will surprise you. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results. The proof is in the pudding. Advertisers that hire us stick with us for years and years because they trust us, because we always promptly respond to customer needs, and because bottom line, we get results. Go to Anderson-Smith.com's Our Clients page to see who trusts us and check out a long list of real advertising success. Then hit the Contact Us button, email me, and I'll call you in short order. Because it's time we grew your business. Anderson-Smith.com.
Whoa, hey, what are these?
Dude, Screamin' Sicilian loaded breadsticks. They are available in cheesy garlic or pepperoni. They're seriously not messing around. These bad boys bake right in their own tray and come fully loaded.
Okay, these are insane. Hey, is this dinner?
Nope, just the warm-up. Find Screamin' Sicilian loaded breadsticks in your local grocer's freezer section. Screamin' Sicilian loaded breadsticks. Fully loaded, bring the flavor.
Welcome back to The Truth Unfiltered.
You're listening to Truth Unlimited. That's unfiltered. Okay, I'm just kidding. You're listening to Truth Unfiltered. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Signing Unlimited. Talking text line is 855-616-1620. 22 minutes after the hour. Chicago Bears were just stopped on the 2-yard line, 4th down, and incomplete pass. But they went for it. You think the Packers would have done that? Think the Packers would have went for it?
I think they would have. In a 7-point game like that, I think the way they had been going for it on 4th down the last several weeks, I think they would have.
Yep.
And if the Bears, you kind of have to. The Rams' offense has been pretty stagnant most of the game, except for 2 touchdown drives.
Yeah.
You have, I think, 3 timeouts left, and you're going to have to go 98 yards for a touchdown right now.
Yep.
And maybe you get a safety. Who knows?
Or get an interception, because, you know, the Bears are good for that. So do you agree that LaFleur should have gotten a new deal?
I think they should have moved on, but I think if they were going to bring him back for 2026, it should have been a short term, maybe another year or 2 added, and see what happens.
Is he mansplaining? Is he mansplaining? Is he mansplaining? Yes or no?
No, like I said, I don't think he should have been brought back. But if they were going to bring him back,
yes or no?
I just answered the question. I don't think he should have been brought back this year.
Yes or no?
I think the answer is no. If I say I don't think he should have been brought back.
There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Because what happens is, and I'm just using you to tease you about it, we always leave open for that little small chance that something different will be happening, that it'll be okay. And we all do that, right? We all, well, let me explain why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking. I say no. Like straight up, boop, no. But you're a football maven, so sports maven. So like, I got to analyze everything and look at everything. I'm like a yes or no.
No, I don't think he should have been brought back. No, unfortunately for the Packers, if they would have let him go, there's no Ben Johnsons in this coaching cycle. Like, there's no, like.
That is true.
I got to have this guy in this coaching cycle this year. And don't give me Hardball because he.
That's his last contract.
Since 2012, he pretty much is the equivalent of Matt LaFleur since 2012. And 2012 is when they won the Super Bowl.
That's his last contract.
Yeah.
Like, that is his last. Like, he just signed his last contract. That's a big deal.
I think he really wanted that Packer job, though. Because you had Adam Schefter on ESPN commenting about how his agent is the son of former Packer president Bob Harlan, and it would be a match made in heaven. I think that
wouldn't. That matters not.
No, but that's what Schefter was pushing, and I guarantee you
that matters not. Y'all be connecting stuff that ain't got nothing to do with
I guarantee you that was his, because that's who Schefter communicates with. It's the agent. I guarantee you that was his agent trying to get into the Packers' ear that, hey, I'll take the job.
Correlation is not causation. One is not going to cause you to win the Super Bowl. I don't care what anybody says. And it's been proven over and over and over. You're never going to get another. Remember Dolphins head coach? They said we'd never get another one. And then Bill Belichick rolled up. Then they said we'd never get another one. And then San Francisco and Chicago. All these great coaches, hit it. And then they were gone. Bill is an anomaly. Why can't I remember his?
Well, Bill Walsh was a 49ers coach. And
right,
he
Bill. I'm trying to think of Miami. Don Shula.
Yeah. See, Bill Walsh had the philosophy that he wasn't going to stay anywhere longer than 10 years. Right. Because after 10 years, your messages are going to go stale.
Right.
And I think that's where the Packers are at LaFleur right now. I think his message has gone stale.
Well. Well, I guess it's neither here nor there because I don't play football. So, then there's that. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ talking text line is 855-616-1620. We got all these stores in Milwaukee closing. And so when we come back, I want to talk about like what exactly is happening really in southeastern Wisconsin. What's going on with all these stores permanently closing? And what's the cause? Is it the store? Is it theft? Is it, or as they call it, shrinkage? Is it like, what is it? I don't understand what it is. We're talking jobs. Everybody keeps saying food desert. And they keep reporting that it's happening, but nobody's like talking about how we're gonna fix it. So
not only is it a food desert, it's also becoming a job desert too.
Well, yes and no. The number of jobs that they have at these stores is not significant enough that it would cause a depletion of jobs in the area to the point where there's poverty all over the place. So it's and many times because it's a chain, they'll disperse them to other stores or fill other openings they have at other stores, and they'll find a job. So what it seems to come down to is well, we'll talk about that when we come back, because Silver Spring, the Milwaukee Century on Silver Spring is now permanently closing. And we just had Aldi. And
Pick and Save closed a couple too recently.
Well, that was 2024-ish, 2023-ish. They had a couple of those close. Aldi is just a few blocks away, like right there on Sherman and Custer. So that's the part that what is it about that particular area in Milwaukee that's causing that? So the people that are talking about food desert, that's all they're doing is talking. They're not doing anything about it. The business of owning a store is very difficult, and it's very it's financially draining if you think about it, because you're dealing with food. It's almost tantamount to running a large restaurant. You got to keep your food. You got to keep your inventory. It's got to be fresh. It's got to be timely, and you're constantly replacing it. And if people don't buy it, you have to throw it out and take it as loss. Like, there are so many things that go into it. And when I read stories like this, there's a story here from WISN 12 that we'll dive into. It scares me because, and it's not their fault. It's not the journalist's fault. It's just one-sided. And we don't know the other side of what is causing this to happen. And until we do, we won't be able to fix it. We'll just pontificate about, look at what happened to Aldi and all the things that are present, and look at what happened to Sherman Park Grocery. They're in danger of closing with all things that are present. Is it prices? Is it what? Is it shrinkage? Is it like what? So when we come back, I want to know your idea. What is it that you think is happening? And this isn't just on the north side of Milwaukee. I get really frustrated when I hear about, oh my God, this north side of Milwaukee, it's a food desert. Well, you got food deserts in northern Ozaukee County. You got food deserts in Waukesha County. You got food deserts on the south side of Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha. They're all over the place because it's based on socioeconomics and not race. And when you pull out race or neighborhood or zip code and look at what they have in common, I think you might start to see a correlation. Prices are too high. And those that can afford go, and those that can't, don't.
Glass, you can have the shower you've always wanted. Heavy glass shower enclosures from Less's Glass are installed by the best in the business. And when you have a showroom to visit with over a dozen glass shower enclosures on display, there's no guessing games. See the ultimate in frameless shower design with doors mounted on smooth as silk stainless steel barn-style rollers. This design combines the beauty and elegance of heavy glass with a minimalist look to create an ideal shower enclosure for tight spaces. Premium shower doors and custom-designed all-glass enclosures. When you work with Less's Glass, you're working with a company that really can do it all. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's 4 walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Day after day, year after year, the heavy lifting, the repetitive motion, and now your body feels it. Your back, your knees, your quality of life.
At Access Legal, we stand up for people worn down by work.
Workers' comp is our sole focus, and our team has recovered more than $35 million for Wisconsin workers. From sudden accidents to pain that builds over years of hard work, we're dedicated to fighting for the benefits you're entitled to. If you've been worn down by work, contact Access Legal for a risk-free consultation.
Search AXIS Legal today.
You're listening to The Truth Unfiltered.
You're listening to Truth Unfiltered. Dr. Ken Harris along with Athens. Hanging out tonight. Denise is off, and we've been hanging out for about an hour and 33 minutes, and it's been a great evening. We've been talking about school closings and all sorts of things. Store closings and door closings and window closings. It's cold. All right. I'm just going all over the place. So I thought Milwaukee had some issues. That's just me. I thought Milwaukee had some issues. But we could look at some of these suburbs and go, well, I don't know. Fox 6 Now has a story. Waukesha County prosecutors accused a woman of repeatedly threatening to shoot an officer in the face earlier this month, and it's far from her first run-in with the law. Now, here's a problem I have with the media in Milwaukee. When stuff like this happens in the suburbs and it's a white male or a white female, we don't hear about it for like a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then all of a sudden, we see the story when nobody will care. This story was released today at 1:40 in the afternoon on a Sunday. Why? This person got arrested a month ago. They identified this person and had a picture a month ago. It's just making the news. Why? Because that is how suburban news is treated. Oh, we can't report that. But if something happens in the city, they broke their toenail, we hear about it for a week, every day. Court records show 38-year-old Ashley Corbin is charged with threatening to harm the officer and misdemeanor disorderly conduct. Her bond was set at $5,000 on Thursday. According to a criminal complaint, New Berlin police were called to a dispute on January 13th. It was reported that Corbin was drinking and acting belligerent. She was out on probation at the time and was not supposed to be drinking. Officers were led into a home and asked Corbin if she would speak with them. She agreed. Court filing said Corbin's speech was slurred. She could barely speak, swaying and stumbling, and denied she'd been drinking and said her slurred speech was because she was taking medication. Prosecutors said police asked her if she'd be willing to take a breath test to prove she hadn't been drinking. She declined. An officer then stepped outside to contact probation parole to ask about Corbin. The officer returned and said she had grown increased agitation, which means they called, and now they were about to get a what? A hold. And once they got a hold, they were going to take her. On top of that, she was on probation, so she could get in trouble for that. She made multiple Islamophobic comments. I don't know what that means. She yelled at the officer to take off his turban and leave the country. So if he had a turban on, he probably wasn't. Anyway, she needs to learn her, yeah. And then the complaint says she told the officer, "I'll shoot you right in your effing face. Watch your effing back." She called the officer a dumb effing Taliban and blank blank. So let me put that in context. Called them a dumb effing Taliban A.B. So then she added, that's not a threat, that's a promise. She got arrested. She said, "I don't make threats. I'm going to bond out tomorrow and I'm going to shoot you in your effing face, B, and your children." Wisconsin Department of Corrections records indicate Corbin had been released from where? Prison on extended supervision 3 weeks earlier. She was accused of swatting in 2023, pleaded no contest, falsely reporting an emergency. The following June was sentenced to 2 years probation. As a condition of probation, she was ordered to maintain absolute sobriety. This is what happens. This woman is in more trouble. This woman is in more trouble than the two guys that killed Corey Stingley. How was that? How was that? And then in Sheboygan, from CBS 58, Sheboygan police say a 19-year-old man is dead and an 18-year-old woman hospitalized following a shooting inside a residence on Saturday. Police responded to the shooting shortly after 8 p.m. Officers located both victims who had been shot. Emergency crews provided aid immediately, transported the 19-year-old to Aurora Medical Center in Sheboygan, where he died. 18-year-old victim was taken to St. Nicholas Hospital for emergency care before being transported to a hospital in Green Bay. Suspects fled the scene prior to the officers' arrival, and no arrests have been made. Anyone with information for this incident is encouraged to contact Sheboygan Police Department at 920-459-3333. Is it me, or are things happening in suburbs and they're just not going reported? Or whoever does the reporting there are not writing those stories and putting them out? Because I see a lot of bias in the media and a lot of bias in journalism as it relates to how stories are reported and how they're put out. Now, you would think because it was online, or better yet, did they just report it online and didn't report it in the actual news on TV or vice versa? I'm interested. So I think I need to get some I don't know, assignment editors, some general managers, some news directors in to really talk about how do you assign stories and how do you decide which stories get done and how do you do that? Because I'm interested in knowing what your biases are and how you override them. Because there seems to be an ongoing issue of egregious suburban stories not quite making it to the news in a timely manner. Now, you couldn't hide the homicide. That happened Saturday. I mean, you couldn't really hide it because it's a homicide. But that's not the first homicide in the last week or so, or the last month. They've been, things have been starting to pick up in suburbs. And so is that a sign of the generation? Is it a sign of the neighborhood, socioeconomic? What is it? I don't know. And I think when we remove race as a factor, because, that's what upsets everybody. Everybody gets so riled up when you mention it. If we remove that, what does it come down to? What really is the issue that we're dealing with? Not just Wisconsin or not just Milwaukee, in the world, in the country. I find it weird that the majority of these stories don't make it to the front page. They make it buried on a website in a little small type somewhere. And here's the wonderful thing about it. I hope I'm wrong and that you can then correct me. But when things happen to you months ago and it just makes the news, oh, by the way, last month, oh, by the way, a couple weeks ago, or it takes a week to make it to the news and then you release it, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Well, they just went to court on, Thursday. Well, okay. The story was written on the 18th. If I'm not mistaken, that's today. That's 5 days. What happened? And so I'm not trying to be biased myself, but I'm just interested in knowing what that is. I'm just interested in knowing why stories take so long to make it to mainstream news media. I'm just wondering, looking to be corrected about something that I'm finding is a trend, and no one has anything to say about it. 855-616-1620 is the Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line. When we come back, I'm going to dive into Minnesota. I'm going to talk about ICE. I'm going to talk about Minnesota. But what I'm really going to get into is the National Guard being ready to possibly support law enforcement in Minnesota. They might be coming to Wisconsin. Who knows? But what we're going to be talking about is I have a question about exactly what the National Guard are going to do in Minnesota. You're listening to Truth Unfiltered. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, Siding Unlimited. Talk and text line is 855-616-1620. We'll be right back.
We're here at Menards Bag Sale, asking shoppers what they're putting in the bag to get 15% off.
Paint, batteries, tools, toilet paper, extension cords, grocery items,
hardware for my cabinets,
snack items, crackers, and some canned goods stuff.
Shop vac supplies,
toothpaste, cereal, coffee, dog treats. I've got a lot of stuff to grab.
The list goes on, but the sale ends January 24th. Hurry in for Menards 15% off bag sale. See store for complete details.
Save big money at Menards.
When I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, every time I come in, it's like a whole new store. It's because new inventory is arriving daily, all kinds of everything. And let me tell you, thrift store prices make buying easy. And helping others at the same time, that's icing on the cake. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul. MW Marine.
The 6th annual Hales Corners Hometown Boat Show is on now at MW Marine. Check out the newest fishing boats from Lund, Vexus, and Ranger, all powered by Mercury Outboards. Grab a gorgeous 2026 model or save big on remaining 2025 Mercury-powered boats with substantial rebates. Demand is high, so get to MW Marine today. Free parking and free admission. Don't miss the Hometown Boat Show at MW Marine, MWMarine.com.
Welcome back to the Truth Unfiltered.
You're listening to Truth Unfiltered. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, 833-21. Ooh, I did it again. It's about time. 833-212-1017 is our sister station. We're at Siding Unlimited, WTMJ, talking text line of 855-616-1620. Okay, I got it both right. All right. So this show is aired the following night on our sister station after my show, Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris from 4 to 6 on 101.7 The Truth, 101.7 FM, WGKB, Monday through Friday. So tomorrow I'm off. Tomorrow there should be a rebroadcast. I'll be chilling, MLK Day, doing some service, hanging out, all that kind of stuff. So this whole Minnesota National Guard thing. So we've been hearing Department of Public Safety in Minnesota says the National Guard has been mobilized. That just means they told them, hey, you might get called up, and is staging to support local law enforcement. So DPS declared that the National Guard is not being deployed to city streets, but is said it will be ready to help public safety, including the protection of life, preservation of property, and supporting the rights of all who assemble peacefully. According to the DPS, Department of Public Safety, the mobilization was at the direction of the governor. Well, that's the only person who can direct it. In a post on X, the Minnesota National Guard confirmed its mobilization, stating that National Guard members would wear reflective vests to distinguish themselves from other agencies in similar uniforms. So here's the deal. While I understand it, if Governor Walz is calling up Minnesota National Guard to support law enforcement officers who are working to quell riots, people that are not being peaceful, then will it allow ICE to do their job? So Because if the ICE person is a victim of a person trying to fight them and nobody's helping them, like, why is law enforcement even there? And are you going to stop ICE agents from doing their job by interfering if they're dealing with a person? I don't know. I don't know. That makes no sense to me. We are going to send they are going to send the National Guard, and in the coming days, there could be another deployment from the U.S. Army. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. That's just me. The Army is not going to go in on the federal government because there's no reason. There's really no reason for that to happen. I don't think so. But I don't think there's any reason for the federal government. Like, I don't even think you can send the Army into the state. Like, that's, yeah. Officials told ABC News that 2 battalions from the 11th Airborne Division stationed in Alaska have been placed on alert for a potential deployment to Minnesota to assist federal law enforcement. The same officials, however, said President Trump, had not made a final decision on whether the battalion would be deployed. One official said, "We are taking prudent steps to prepare active duty armed forces. This doesn't mean they will deploy. That means we are preparing options." I can't see them sending U.S. troops to Minnesota. That would actually scare me. That I would believe that President Trump is wrong in what he's doing. I would think that Trump would be wrong if he did that. There would be absolutely no reason. You should allow local law enforcement on the outset, maybe National Guard who are from Minnesota to assist local law enforcement. 855-616-1620 is the number. Al, you are on Truth Unfiltered.
Ken, how you doing today?
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm sitting here catching up on the latest news and stories from Minneapolis. We got people going into churches and protesting churches, feeling like they have a right to be there because they think an ICE agent is a member of the congregation. I'm watching videos where they're attacking random people and even their own protesters. In one case, because one of the protesters were in camouflage, so they thought the protester was undercover federal agent, and they wanted to beat him up. Mm-hmm. It is really crazy. These people have a psychosis where they're seeing federal agents everywhere and people simply by the way they look. So there is some great psychosis going on there in Minnesota. If it gets any more wilder, yeah, I think they're going to have to take some drastic action.
And what do you mean by drastic action?
Well, you see, even when the police were trying to break up unlawful protests, they were protesting all these hotels in the street. They ran off their own Minnesota police department, and that was crazy. Mm-hmm. So we have people who really think that mob rule will allow them to do most anything that they want to, and it seems the governor, even though he put the what do you call it? The state, the
National Guard.
National Guard on standby. He didn't deploy them.
Well, and
he's just letting it fester.
Well, technically, it's not festering. We're talking about people that are doing what they have a right to do. Is it overhand? Is it a little over? Are they do they have a permit? No. As long as you're peaceful and you're not causing a trouble and you're not breaking out windows and you're not doing, it's fairly reasonable that they just allow you to just do what you do. As long as you're not breaking people's cars and doing stuff like that.
The chief was there declaring an unlawful protest. Right. With his officers, and they chased them off.
But see, how many officers did they have, and do you think those officers would have been able to overcome that particular crowd? Because if they couldn't, then I wouldn't have done it either.
So what does the world look like when we think we have mob rule and we don't have to listen to laws and law enforcement?
So what exactly have they done? So what exactly have they done that makes us believe that all heck is going to break loose and the world's going to end? Nothing. They're just protesting. Let them.
So in the violence and beating people up?
Well, those are isolated, and just because you saw it happen doesn't mean nobody got arrested after that. See, we don't know the whole picture. We just have the snapshot that we saw on video.
Okay. But should this continue and you just get to beat people up and you get to chase the police off when they come in to arrest? This is crazy. We can't have a country like this.
But they're not chasing the police off. The police are retreating because at that moment in time, that's not a good enough time for them to have the upper hand in order to control it. So,
and the governor has National Guard,
which he's not doing anything with. He's hoping that saying that he's mobilizing them, which means you made a phone call saying, just in case. You know what I mean? So it really doesn't mean, on both sides of the aisle, it really doesn't mean anything. It's
okay.
Now what's going to have to happen? Someone's going to have to get hurt.
People are getting hurt.
No. Someone of significance is going to have to get hurt or die, and then all of a sudden everything will change. It's like everything else in the world.
Significant?
Well, we don't know yet.
Everyone is less significant if you get hurt or die?
Well, basically, in the country we live in, yes.
Would you want the governor to get hurt?
No. What I'm saying is that when the people care about the person that gets hurt, then it'll change. Just like when Renee Good got shot and killed. They didn't really care about it. They were just protesting. And then when she got killed, she became the most important person in the world.
Are they terrorizing the common sense people who are out there?
Absolutely.
We're just being silent watching this.
Well, to be honest with you, if I was common sense, I wouldn't be out there obstructing a federal law enforcement officer. I'm just saying. I'd stand on the curb and protest.
Home. We're at home watching this. What power do we have?
Call your elected official and tell them what to do and tell them what you want.
Right. Dr. Kidd, watch it this week. Have fun. Have a good week.
All right, you too. Thanks, Al. But that's just how life goes. I mean, we can't control everything that everybody does. And people have a right to protest, and you got to let them protest. There's a reasonableness, right? We know it's unlawful assembly, but they let it go as long as you're peaceful and not doing anything. Like, you have to have leeway. You have to have some wiggle room in the law, right? We can't be 100% if you just broke the letter of the law. There's a letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And you can be a little flexible. But at some point, we have to recognize that the safety of all is the most important thing. But you have to look at the caliber of person that will go up against a federal law enforcement officer and obstruct them. That's why I have issues with some people here who are insinuating that you should impede a federal officer doing their job. That is illegal. And unless you're going to pay their bail, unless you're going to pay for their lawyer, I would suggest you not give that piece of advice to people. I would hope that you would take tomorrow, the national celebration of the birth of Martin Luther King, to pursue peace on both sides of the aisle, on both sides of the street. I want to say thanks for calling. Thanks for texting. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate you. You have a great evening. God bless. Celebrate tomorrow. Be of service to someone you're not usually in service of. Be kind. Be thoughtful. And if you're talking to somebody, be brief. Because I just took 2 hours. Hey, have a great one. I'm out.